I stare at my phone. The wedding dress pooling around me like spilled milk. Glossy and shock cold against my legs. The screen glows in the dim of the bridal suite. A single rectangle of blue light that guts me in one sentence. I can't walk you down the aisle. Marissa's event is too important to miss. I'll try for the reception. For a full heartbeat I don't understand the words. They swim, blur, reform, and then the floor tilts like a ship in a storm. No, I whisper, but the room eats the sound. No, no, no. My chest cinches tight. The clock over the vanity ticks with vicious cheer. Each second a hammer on bone. The air thins. My dress, a cloud a minute ago, becomes a straitjacket of tulle. With a strangled sound that doesn't feel human, I pitch the phone. It arcs, hits the wall with a crack that ricochets through glass and nerves, and tumbles to the carpet like a felled bird. My bridesmaids gasp in unison. Jessica's mascara wand hangs in midair. Tara's mouth makes a perfect OA hairpin clinks against the tile and skitters under the vanity like it's fleeing. 2. Ari, what happened? Tara asks, taking one careful step as if the floor might give way. I can't answer. I can't even pull a full breath. The room is shrinking, corners inching inward. My heart stutters and pounds in the same second. A rabbit and a drum. Every heartbeat hurts. The diamond on my left hand, Ethan's grandmother's stone, suddenly weighs as much as a paperweight. A promise pulling me back while another cracks down the middle. The door swings open on a gust of lemon cleaner and clipboard authority. Melanie, our wedding planner, sweeps in with her headset like a pilot about to land a plane in a thunderstorm. Okay, ladies, 3 hours until we line. She stops, scanning our faces, landing on me. What's going on? My father. I rasp. The words are glass in my throat. He's not coming. Melanie blinks. In 3 months I've only ever seen her unflappable. Now, for a second, the mask slips. Not coming? But the ceremony. She checks her tablet like the answer might be printed there. We planned your processional around him. Well, he's not. The voice that comes out of me is thin and sharp and weirdly calm. Like the string on a violin right before it snaps. My sister's event is apparently more important than my wedding day. The truth hits harder spoken aloud. It lands with a physical thud in my stomach. And behind it comes a memory I never invited. A church swaddled in lilies. My mother in a closed casket. And me at 13 with my hand folded inside my father's. I'll always be there for the important moments. Ari, he'd promised. Voice raw with grief. You and I were a team now. I had believed him with a child's unquestioning faith. And then I kept believing long after I should have known better. 9 months ago, when Ethan and I set the date, Dad looked genuinely happy. We'd sat at his kitchen table with bridal magazines fanned out like cards. And he'd laid his hand over mine. Nothing would make me prouder than walking you down the aisle. He'd said, eyes creased at the corners. I felt 10 years old again and safe. The first warning flare went up 3 months ago when Marissa called to announce her big career celebration, the same day. Just bad timing, Dad said, pushing peas around his plate. Already avoiding my eyes. We'll work something out. I did the math for him. Our ceremony at 4, her event at 7, a 45-minute drive. You can make both. He hedged. Traffic's unpredictable. She really needs family support. The next week it was. I'm not sure about the timing. Last week. Let's play it by ear. Each time I reassured him. Braced the crumbling wall. Offered solutions. A car service. Whatever it took. Each time he let me carry the weight. Until today, when he put it down in a text and walked away. Melanie lowers her clipboard. Her voice shifts to the one she uses for panicked brides and hailstorms. We need to move forward. Ariana, we can adjust and still keep this perfect. Is there someone else who could walk you down the aisle? An uncle? A godfather? Or, this is a beautiful choice too. You could walk alone. Alone. The word ring bells inside my skull. Alone in the photo. Alone under the arch. Alone stepping toward a man who has never once made me feel alone. My vision narrows. The clock ticks. Somewhere below us. Beyond the French doors and draped lawns. The string quartet is rehearsing scales. Notes gliding up and up like a ladder I can't reach. My phone starts to buzz where it landed. A cheap rattle against plush carpet. Jessica lunges for it, scoops it up like it might break again, and crosses the room on ballerina feet. She places it in my palm, her eyes searching mine. It's Uncle Martin. Martin, my father's older brother. The man who attended recitals with flowers and sat through my school plays even when I had 3 lines. The man who made me pancakes the morning of my driver's test and waited in the DMV lobby knitting a scarf he never finished. Warmth cracks through the cold like sunlight through blind. The anger under his calm is a taut wire. And I am so damn sorry. Tears slip hot over carefully sprayed makeup. I don't know what to do. There's a small, decisive silence. I can picture him pressing 2 fingers to the bridge of his nose. Making a call under the call. Then, would you allow me the honor of walking you down the aisle? Something inside me breaks and mends at the same time. Like a bone setting with a clean snap. You'd do that? In a heartbeat. His voice softens. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't you worry about a thing. I close my eyes. Behind my lids, the dappled shade of the garden ceremony flickers like film. I see Ethan at the end of the aisle. Mouth soft, eyes bright. I see a little girl at 13 being told she won't be alone. And for once, the promise lands on both of us. When I open my eyes, Jessica and Tara and Melanie are all watching me. Their faces like orbiting moons, pulled by the same tide. My Uncle Martin is coming, I say, and my voice is steadier than it has, and crack looks like a map of the distance between a father and a daughter. I don't touch it. Far below, the quartet drifts from scales into a melody I know. It floats up the stairwell like a lifeline. For the first time since the text, my lungs remember how to fill all the way. Maybe family isn't who promises. Maybe it's who arrives. There's a gentle knock. Jessica, still holding the mascara wand she forgot to cap, edges closer, her expression wary. Ari, she says, voice low, the syllable barely a breath and nod. Bracing for the kind of proof that scorches and cleans in the same flame. Show me, I say. The glow of Jessica's phone floods my vision. Too bright, too sharp. The words cut before my mind fully wraps around them. Dad's still wavering about the wedding. Keeps talking about making it work. The sender, Marissa. Another bubble slides into view. Don't worry, I know how to keep Dad to myself on wedding day. Already working on it. My breath leaves me in a shudder. It's her wedding, Jessica had written back, sounding more shocked than outraged. Then, oops, wrong Jessica, delete this. The words tremble on the glass. Pixelated fingerprints of betrayal. My knees give, and I drop onto the vanity stool. The mirror throws back a stranger. Face blanched beneath makeup, eyes hollow. For 17 years Marissa has been pulling strings. And I've danced like a marionette desperate for Dad's applause. The image twists in memory. The MIT auditorium. Stage lights glaring. My name called for the National Computer Science Scholarship. A moment carved from ambition. Sweat. Sleepless nights. I had scanned rows of faces. Looking for one. The seat was empty. He texted later about an emergency. Apologizing. Swearing he tried. Months afterward, a slip of his assistant's tongue revealed the truth. Marissa called. Told him I'd asked him not to come. Claimed I was too nervous. A lie so precise it carried her signature. It hits me now like a freight train barreling through carefully stacked china. She hasn't just stolen moments. She's engineered absences. She's been the puppeteer in shadows. Whispering excuses into Dad's ear. Trimming me out of the picture frame of his life. And he let her. Over and over. He let her. The clock's ticking quickens. Merging with the drum of my pulse. My throat burns. The bridal suite swims. A hand lands lightly on my shoulder. Tara. Steady. Her voice stripped of all her usual sarcasm. Your dad is an idiot. And your sister is worse. Her bluntness is a lifeline. Grounding me to something solid. Another knock interrupts. This one firm. Certain. Melanie peers in. Head set askew. Clipboard hugged to her chest. Mrs. Carter is here. Ethan's mother. She wants to see you. For a second I want to scream no. I'm hollowed. Splintered. But I nod. Moments later Catherine Carter slips in. Elegant in pale blue. Her presence like cool water over fire. She takes one look at my tear-streaked face and doesn't hesitate. Her hands cup mine, soft but firm. Oh, Ariana. The sympathy nearly unravels me. Martin called me, she says gently. I'm so sorry. The words burst from me. Raw, jagged. I don't understand why he keeps doing this. She sits beside me, the love seat sighing under our weight. Her voice lowers. Confessional, carrying old pain. When I was 28, my father refused to attend my wedding. He didn't approve of Gregory because of our interfaith marriage. I waited until the last minute, hoping he'd change his mind. He never came. She squeezes my fingers. And for years after, I bent myself into knots trying to earn his approval. Rearranged holidays, excused absences at birthdays. It never stopped hurting, until I stopped trying. Her eyes glisten, but her voice remains steady. This isn't just about today, Ariana. It's about whether you'll keep letting them break your heart tomorrow. And the day after. And the day after that. The truth lands with a dull weight. My whole life has been a cycle of intermittent reinforcement. Those scraps of affection. Those half-kept promises that tricked me into believing the next time would be different. Each crumb kept me starving for the loaf that never came. Since Mom died, Marissa crowned herself queen of the household. Orchestrating dinners, filtering schedules, drawing Dad into her orbit, leaving me outside the circle. I'd thought maybe one day he would see me again. But today he chose. My phone buzzes in my lap. And for a second I flinch like it's a snake. The screen lights with Ethan's name. I swipe it open. Whatever you need today, I'm here, even if that means waiting. I love you. Tears prick again, but they're different, softer, grateful. Catherine squeezes my shoulder. You don't have to wait. She says, this day isn't about who isn't here. It's about who is. I nod, inhaling like a diver breaking the surface. My lungs protest, still jagged, but fuller. Catherine tilts her head. Here, try this. She demonstrates, one hand pressed gently against her stomach. Inhale 4 counts. Hold 7. Exhale 8. It slows the panic. I follow her, shaky at first, then steadier. Air moves. My chest loosens. The room comes back into focus. The bouquets waiting in their vases. The lace veil draped over the chair. Jessica hovering with red-rimmed eyes. Tara standing guard with arms crossed. Melanie adjusting her headset as if to shield me from chaos. I whisper, more to myself than anyone. I won't let this ruin everything. The door flies open with a gust of cooler air from the hallway. Uncle Martin strides in, tucks jacket half-buttoned, cheeks flushed from haste. His eyes sweep the room, land on me, and soften. In his hand is a small velvet box. Ari, he breathes, crossing the space in 3 long strides. He folds me into a hug that smells of starch and aftershave. Solid and unshakable. Look at you. Absolutely beautiful. The box glints in his hand. He lifts it between us. A hint of smile breaking through his stern jaw. I brought something for you. For the first time since Dad's text. Hope stirs like a flicker of flame refusing to die. Uncle Martin's hand trembles slightly as he flips open the velvet box. Inside, nestled against black satin, lies a strand of pearls. They shimmer with a soft glow. Not flashy, but timeless. Every orb carrying decades of whispered stories. These belong to my mother, Martin says, his voice dropping to a reverent hush. She wore them on her wedding day in 1952. I've kept them safe, waiting for the right moment. His blue eyes lock on mine, fierce and gentle at once. That moment is today. My throat constricts. Uncle, I couldn't. You can. And you will. He interrupts, firm but tender. My mother would have wanted it this way. Ariana, you are family, real family. The pearls gleam like frozen moonlight. And when Jessica steps forward to fasten the clasp at the nape of my neck, the cool weight against my skin feels like an embrace across time. For the first time all day, my reflection in the vanity doesn't look like a woman abandoned, it looks like a bride carried by generations. Martin studies me for a ghost of lavender, my mother's favorite scent. Tears prick hot and insistent. Uncle Martin, my voice cracks. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. He replies, his tone roughening. Family shows up, that's all there is to it. Melanie hovers in the doorway, clipboard hugged close. We need to practice the walk before guests arrive, she says gently. The words hang like a bell toll. Inevitable. Martin extends his arm. A knight offering a shield. The chapel is empty. Sunlight streaming through stained glass windows that paint the aisle in fractured rainbows. Each step we take down the carpet runner stirs dust motes into tiny galaxies. The photographer adjusts her lens, quietly redirecting her plan for the first look, no longer between father and daughter, but uncle and niece. A pang hits sharp. But when I glance at Martin, his steady presence grounds me. Maybe this was always meant to be. We walk the aisle once, twice, 3 times. Each repetition steadies me. The rhythm of every edge of my gown. My arm rests firmly in Martin's, steady as a pillar. And for the first time since this morning, I don't feel like I'm about to collapse. The string quartet shifts seamlessly into the wedding march, each note threading itself into my veins, calming and electrifying all at once. The guests rise in unison, a rustle of fabrics and whispers. Their faces blur together, but I catch flashes. Jessica dabbing at her eyes in the front row. Tara mouthing, "You've got this." Melanie at the back nodding like a proud director calling, "Action." The aisle stretches before me. A river of white rose petals that flutter in the breeze. Each petal is a heartbeat. Each step a choice. Halfway down, I glance at Martin. His eyes shine with unshed tears, though his smile is strong, reassuring. For years I believed my father was the only one who could anchor me at this moment. But Martin's presence proves a different truth. Family is not about who promises, it's about who shows up. When I lift my gaze, Ethan is there, waiting at the altar, his jaw tense, his eyes wet but unashamed. The moment our eyes meet, he exhales like he's been holding his breath all day. A sob catches in my throat, but I swallow it back. This walk is not about absence. It's about love that endures. The officiant greets us at the altar, her voice warm but carrying to every corner of the garden. "Welcome, beloved friends and family. Today we gather to witness the joining of Ariana and Ethan in marriage." She pauses, her gaze flickering briefly to Martin. "I want to acknowledge the special role played today. One born not of obligation but of devotion. Some bonds are forged by blood, others by choice. Both can be sacred." A murmur ripples through the guests, approval from some, discomfort from others. I see a few of my father's relatives shifting in their seats, as though the sunlight itself has turned accusatory. Let them squirm. My hand tightens on Martin's arm in gratitude. The ceremony unfolds like a dream spliced with reality. Ethan's vows tremble with emotion, his voice breaking as he promises not just to love me but to show up every day, no matter the storm. My own vows spill from me like a tide, unpolished but raw, every word soaked in the truth of survival and choice. When we exchange rings, the diamond that once felt like a weight now feels like a lighthouse. And then, the kiss. A simple press of lips. But it tastes of everything, of broken promises left behind, of new roots planted, of sunlight after rain. The guests erupt in applause, the quartet swelling triumphantly. For a moment, all the shadows shrink. Martin remains at my side, a sentinel of love. As Ethan and I face our guests as husband and wife, I glance up at him, pearls cool against my skin, handkerchief tucked close, and whisper, "Thank you." He nods, no words needed. As we step down from the altar, laughter and applause surrounding us like a wave. I feel the past loosen its grip. I think, maybe the truest families are the ones we stitch together from the people who choose to stay. And yet, as the crowd parts and we head toward the reception, I catch sight of a shadow at the edge of the lawn. A figure lingering by the garden gate. Suit rumpled, eyes unreadable. My heart stutters. Even at this perfect moment, absence threatens to turn into presence. I blink once, twice, to be sure, and there he is, my father. The reception hall glows under a canopy of fairy lights and suspended lanterns, as if the night sky itself has been coaxed indoors. Applause erupts when Ethan and I enter. Uncle Martin beside us, his hand light on my back. The DJ's voice booms. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Ethan Carter," escorted by their beloved Uncle Martin. My cheeks ache with a smile that feels both fragile and unbreakable. For a few precious minutes. It's easy to pretend nothing outside this room exists. Dinner flows with laughter and clinking glasses. The guests toast. Stories are shared. And I catch myself exhaling deeper than I have in months. When the DJ announces the father-daughter dance. Though, dread coils tight in my stomach. The tradition has always been a dream I held onto, walking. Twirling. Being spun by my father under the glow of music and family. But the spotlight now feels like a knife aimed at the hollow he left behind. Before I can retreat, Martin steps forward. His posture is formal, almost military, but his eyes are soft. He extends his hand. Just for a minute, he murmurs, "Before your husband steals you away." I place my hand in his. And the music begins. The first notes of What a Wonderful World float through the speakers. And the room hushes. The spotlight finds us. And suddenly all I see is Martin's steady gaze and the rhythm of our steps. My heart unclenches, the ache loosening as we sway together. He hums faintly along with the melody. And I realize I'm not grieving what I've lost but celebrating what I've found. Halfway through the song, Ethan approaches, his smile breaking through tears. Martin releases me with a flourish, spinning me gently toward my husband. "She's all yours now," he says, his voice cracking with pride. Ethan catches me effortlessly, pulling me close, and the room exhales in collective relief. It's then, in Ethan's arms, that I notice him, a figure standing at the entrance, just beyond the arch of fairy lights. My father, Robert Parker. He's wearing a suit that doesn't quite fit, tie loosened, hair a little mussed as if he's been rushing. His eyes roam the room, searching, until they land on me. The noise of the reception dims in my ears. He came, after all. Ethan follows my gaze, his lips brushing my ear. He's here, too late, I whisper, the words tasting flat, final, some moments you can't get back. My father doesn't move closer, doesn't wave, he lingers at the threshold, caught between worlds, the one he abandoned and the one moving forward without him. For the first time, I don't feel the urge to run to him, to bridge the gap, to make things easier. The invisible string I've clutched for 17 years has frayed to nothing. I rest my head against Ethan's chest, listening to the steady thrum of his heartbeat, the music rising around us. Behind my back, Martin drifts quietly toward my father, a glass of champagne in hand, his jaw set in quiet dignity. I don't hear their words, but I see the way Martin squares his shoulders, standing like a gatekeeper between past and present. For once, I don't follow. I keep dancing. The song fades into applause. Laughter. The scrape of chairs. Ethan kisses my temple, and the DJ's voice surges over the speakers, announcing the next dance. I let myself breathe, let myself steady glowing. But I thought you should see this. I freeze, my pulse leaping into my throat. Ethan's arm tightens protectively around my waist as I glance down. The group chat opens like a wound. Heading to Murphy's for drinks. Dad skipped Ari's wedding for this. So you better show up. The message is stamped 4:30 p.m., the exact time I was walking down the aisle. Photo after photo follows. Marissa at a bar with 15 friends. Cocktails raised high, her grin wide and unrepentant. No stage, no podium, no career event. Just neon lights and laughter while my vows echoed in a garden he couldn't bring himself to attend. Another screenshot. Marissa to a friend named Jen. Dad will have to choose between us. I'll make sure he chooses me. The air leaves my lungs in a rush. Around us, the chatter fades into a muffled hum, as though the entire reception has been wrapped in glass. I lift my eyes from the screen to my father, still lingering at the edge of the dance floor. His face drains of color as Daniel, leaving my words hanging sharp in the charged silence. My father straightens, tries to recover the authority of a man who's always believed his excuses should suffice. I want to apologize, he says loudly, projecting to the room. I need to explain. Not here. My reply is swift, fierce. For the first time. It doesn't shake. Not now. But, no. The word booms from somewhere deep. Carried on 17 years of swallowed hurt. You made your choice 2 weeks ago when you started looking for excuses. You made it again when you steps in. placing a calming hand on Robert's elbow. His voice low but carrying. Not tonight. She deserves this day without more drama. My father sways, shoulders slumping, as Martin gently steers him toward the bar in the far corner. The crowd exhales, chatter gradually resuming, though the undercurrent is different now, an awareness that something irrevocable has just shifted. Ethan brushes a tear from my cheek with his thumb. You okay? I take a breath. Steady, resolute. Yes, I whisper, and to my surprise, I mean it. The DJ clears his throat, fumbles with his playlist, and the next song swells through the speakers. Laughter bubbles again from the tables. Hesitant at first, then freer, I turn back to Ethan, placing my hand firmly in his. The night is ours, and I refuse to let it crumble under old wounds. So I choose to keep dancing. The night winds on with a sweetness I didn't think possible after the chaos. Plates of lemon chicken and roasted vegetables disappear from tables. Glasses clink in cheerful toasts. And bursts of laughter ripple across the reception like fireflies darting through twilight. For the first time in hours, my pulse slows to something resembling normal. Ethan squeezes my hand beneath the table. A silent question. Are you holding up? My answering smile tells him what words cannot. I am still here. Still standing. Later, after the bouquet toss and cake cutting, Melanie ushers a smaller group into a side room she's transformed with candles and soft music. An after-party, intimate, reserved for those who have been anchors all day, Ethan and his parents. Jessica, Tara, cousin Daniel, and of course Uncle Martin. The clamor of the reception fades into a muffled hum beyond the walls, replaced with a cocoon of warmth. On the low table in the center rests a large white card. Sign it, Melanie says, handing out pens, a keepsake for Ariana. One by one, they lean over, scribbling lines that will live longer than the night itself. Jessica writes, the moment I saw you lift your chin today, I knew you'd never bow to anyone's shadow again. Tara scrawls, your strength makes me braver just standing next to you. Daniel adds, family isn't who claims you. It's who fights beside you. Ethan's parents sign as well. Catherine pens, you've taught me what resilience looks like. I'm proud to call you daughter. Gregory follows with, welcome home, Ariana, you've always belonged. When the card finally lands in Martin's hands, he hesitates, his face softening with something unspeakable. He writes carefully, his handwriting steady despite the tremor in his fingers. I may not have raised you, but I will always stand beside you. Always. I read each line, my chest aching with something fuller than grief, wider than relief. Carefully, I fold the card and tuck it into a small cedar chest I had planned to fill with wedding keepsakes. Inside already lie Mom's handkerchief, Martin's velvet box, and now this card, my memory vault. Someday, I will show my children and tell them, this is what family means. Jessica presses a button on her phone, and the outside terrace lights with cold sparklers spelling a hearty guest's gasp. Phones whip out to capture the fleeting letters in the dark. The sparklers hiss and fade, but the glow in my chest remains. Back inside, my phone vibrates. A text notification blinks. Dad. Tomorrow. Just you and me. The words feel like a stone dropped into still water. Ripples spreading across my comm. I glance at Martin. He studies me for a long moment, then nods slowly. You'll know what to say when it's time. He murmurs, and you'll know what you want. I slide the phone face down on the table. Tonight is not about him. Tonight is about light, laughter, and the people who showed up when it mattered. I lean back into Ethan's shoulder, letting the glow of sparklers and candlelight wrap around me like armor. Whatever tomorrow brings, I know one thing for certain. This day belongs to me. 1 year later, the autumn sun slants golden through Ethan's parents' bay windows, painting the hardwood floor in long amber stripes. The house hums with warmth, pots clatter in the kitchen. Catherine's laughter drifts down the hall. Gregory's baritone rumbles with a story. I smooth the small white corsage at my wrist, identical roses to the bouquet I carried down the aisle, and rest my palm against the gentle swell of my belly. Our daughter shifts inside me, a flutter like butterfly wings, and Ethan leans down to kiss my temple. Happy anniversary, Mrs. Carter. He whispers, his grin boyish and soft. We gather in the living room where Gregory unveils a thick photo album bound in navy leather. Thought you might like to see just how much family we packed into 1 year. He says, flipping to the first page. Thanksgiving dinner. Every chair full. Martin carving the turkey while Ethan pours wine. Christmas morning, me in pajamas. Laughing as Jessica topples under a pile of wrapping paper. Easter, our hands linked in church. Catherine dabbing at tears while Gregory beams. Each photo is a brick in the house we've been building. One dinner, one gathering at a time. Each image says louder than words, you are not alone anymore. Remember when Robert nearly set the grill on fire on the 4th? Gregory chuckles, pointing to a summer snapshot. Dad stands red-faced beside a charred stack of hamburgers. A sheepish grin stretched across his face. I smile faintly. He'd shown up that day with potato salad from the store and more apologies than I knew what to do with. It had been the beginning of something tentative. Fragile, a slow, stumbling effort to mend what was shattered. Catherine tilts her head carefully. Has Marissa called recently? I keep my tone neutral. Not since she moved to Florida. She sent a card when we announced the pregnancy. That's something, I suppose. From the armchair near the fireplace. Uncle Martin clears his throat. Time has etched deeper lines around his eyes. But his smile is as steadfast as ever. I have something for you both. He says. From beside the chair, he lifts a neatly wrapped bundle. Tissue paper parts to reveal a delicate cream-colored baby blanket. The stitches intricate, patient. Alice knitted this before she passed. He explains, his voice thick with memory. Said it was for the next generation. Whenever that might come. Seems the time has come. My throat swells. I trace the soft yarn. Thinking of the aunt I never knew but whose hands still reach forward through time. It's beautiful, I whisper. Before I can say more. The doorbell rings. Ethan slips away and returns moments later with my father. Robert stands awkwardly in the doorway, clutching a weathered photo album. His suit jacket hangs looser than it once did. And for the first time in years, her hand resting where mine now lies. Dad beside her, younger, hopeful, unbroken by years of poor choices. He clears his throat. I'm sorry I wasn't there when it mattered most. I can't change the past. But I'd like to be here for your future. For my granddaughter's future. The silence stretches. Old wounds ache, but beneath them a seed of something new stirs. I don't promise forgiveness. I don't rush to erase scars. But I take his hand, rough and tentative, and say softly, one day at a time. Around us, conversation resumes, tentative at first, then warmer. Catherine ushers everyone into the dining room. Gregory fusses over the roast. Ethan threads his fingers through mine. His touch grounding me in the present. Later, as Catherine sets the timer on the camera, we gather for a group photo. Ethan at my side, Martin steady as ever, Dad hesitantly joining the circle. My hand rests on my belly, feeling the flutter that might be a kick, might be hope itself. Click, the shut. She slides an arm around my shoulders. You don't have to keep reopening wounds to prove you're healing. She murmurs. Her words are a balm, reminding me I can choose where to pour my energy. From the dining room, Ethan's laughter rings out, warm and unguarded. Martin's teaching Dad how to hold a baby. He calls, and I picture the scene. My father awkwardly cradling a pillow while Martin adjusts his elbows. Patient and firm, for once. The image makes me smile instead of ache. I press a hand to my belly. And there it is, the flutter again. Sharper this time, unmistakable. A kick. My breath catches. Ethan, I call. But before he can cross the room, Martin appears in the doorway. His eyes widen as he sees my hand pressed to my stomach. Did she? He asks softly. I nod, and without hesitation, he kneels, resting a weathered palm against the swell of my belly. The baby kicks again, stronger this time, as if answering his touch. Martin's eyes glisten. You hear that, little one? Grandpa Martin's right here. His voice cracks, but he laughs through it. A sound equal parts joy and disbelief. Ethan kneels beside him, sliding his hand over mine. Tears brimming in his eyes. She's going to know exactly who showed up for her. He whispers. I close my eyes. overwhelmed by the magnitude of this moment. The past may still cast shadows. But right now, in this golden lit room, surrounded by chosen love and tentative reconciliation, the future feels brighter than I ever dared to imagine. The house grows quieter as the evening winds down, the last streaks of orange fading beyond the bay window. Catherine clears dishes in the kitchen. Gregory hums softly as he corks the leftover wine, and laughter from earlier lingers like the echo of a hymn. In the living room, I kneel before the cedar chest once more. The pearls, the handkerchief, the card, the folded list of boundaries, all tokens of battles fought and bridges built. Tonight, I add 2 more pieces. The ultrasound photo Ethan printed earlier that week. Grainy and miraculous. And a candid snapshot Gregory took moments ago of Dad holding the baby blanket with trembling hands. I close the lid gently, as though tucking away a living promise. My reflection in the polished wood looks different now, steadier, older, softened but unbroken. I once believed adulthood was sprinting to keep up with everyone else's expectations. Now I know it's learning when to stop, when to draw a line, and when to choose who walks beside you. Behind me, the murmur of voices draws nearer. Dad steps hesitantly into the room, still holding the weathered album. His eyes search mine, and for the first time in years, there's no defense in them, no excuses waiting on his tongue. Just a quiet man stripped bare by truth. "Thank you for letting me be here tonight," he says, voice gravelly. "I know I don't deserve it yet, but I'm grateful." I nod, words lodged in my throat. Forgiveness isn't instant, it's a road. And we've only just taken the first step. But he's here, and he stayed. That counts for something. Later, Catherine gathers us for one final group photo. We arrange ourselves by the fireplace, Ethan steady at my side, Uncle Martin anchoring the other, Dad just behind us, cautious but present. My hand rests on my belly, feeling a flutter that feels like both hope and inheritance. As the camera timer blinks down, I realize this moment matters more than the picture itself. A fractured family, stitched together not by perfection, but by the simple act of showing up. Click. The shutter captures us in amber light, imperfect and real. As the night ends, the doorbell rings once more. Everyone exchanges puzzled looks. I rise slowly, smoothing my dress, and open the door. Dad stands there, his coat buttoned, his watch glinting in the porch light. For once, he's early. He holds no excuses, only a tentative smile. "Dinner next Sunday?" he asks. I let the pause stretch, then step aside, gesturing him in. "Come in, Dad. You're right on time." The warmth of the house spills into the night, pulling him across the threshold. And I know, some families are bound by blood, some by choice, and if you're lucky, some by second chances lived the right way.